But speaking of shoving something down the public's throats,
No. Stop.
we've avoided this for long enough. I need to hear Andrew's real thoughts on this. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. I remember we had the conversation of like, we're not going to comment on this, at least for a while. How long has it been?
Since September
Yeah, so
10th.
6-ish months, give or take a month or two. The more that the proceedings of the court case and all of that keep going on, the more I am like, my inner voice is screaming inside job.
So what do you mean by inside job? Because that could mean a lot of different things.
They were outside, so it was not inside.
Yeah. No, he shot from inside.
He was inside a building.
So
he wasn't on the roof. He was inside the building.
Andrew, help me out with
Got away from the drones.
a general arc. I know he was at a university in Utah, Charlie Kirk was, giving one of his rallies where he has people come up, debate, do all that.
Not a rally, but just a discussion,
Yeah.
debate.
I mean, it was getting to the point where, like, legitimately hundreds and thousands of people were coming out. Not thousands as in
No.
100,000, but like thousands of people.
Yeah, at the university, I'd probably say that there was at least like 5,000.
Yeah,
there.
it was growing pretty big. If you guys have been under a rock, Charlie Kirk, conservative activist, started Turning Point USA, all that stuff, was shot, killed, and it was not a good time. The videos went out instantly over social media, and everybody, it seemed like we had answers way too quickly. Like, oh, it was this guy, instantly within a
The old guy.
Yeah,
The old guy.
yeah, like everybody was pointing toward it, and it wasn't just people that were unaware of the situation or not in contact with the situation. It was like, I remember something with the FBI saying, "Oh, we need to talk to this guy. We think it's him," and it's like, how do you know?
Well, let me just kind of.
Give us the overview.
I'm not going to make this my segment again.
Do
but
it.
I
No,
just
legitimately, I want us to discuss this.
Okay.
I don't want to read a bunch of facts and stuff. I want us to discuss it.
So, like you said, if anybody's living under a rock, right, you would literally have to be living under a rock. So I don't think we really need to have a whole big explanation of what happened.
Right.
Everybody's heard all the conspiracy theories about all this. I just know that it got in the news again, besides just Candace Owens talking about them, because of Iran. They got involved.
Yes.
So is that why you're wanting to bring this up again?
And because I think there was a gentleman on the Sean Ryan podcast where he had some passing by conversations with Kirk, and when he was in one of the government buildings in, I believe it was DC, he had a passing moment, and where they said hello, this, that, and the other, and Kirk literally said he basically swears on everything, that Kirk looked at him and said, "Do not let us get into a war with Iran." And this was several months before anything happened.
You're talking about Joe Kent,
I believe so. I don't.
the guy that dropped out from Trump's cabinet.
I believe so.
Yeah.
But if that did happen, and the man seems very serious about it.
Well, I mean, there's video of him saying, probably multiple videos, that a war with Iran would be a horrible mistake and we need to avoid it.
Yeah. Which now we're in one.
No, supposedly we won. We're out.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. The more that we learn about the situation with just certain things, and watching the video of the shooter jump down. He doesn't have a gun. They find the gun. They say he took the gun apart. I've got guns. Andrew's got guns. Jeremy's got guns for arms.
I don't.
Jeremy's got guns for arms.
I don't.
We both know.
He's got arms for guns.
True.
Yeah. There's no way that what's coming out through the FBI and stuff. It looks like Kennedy all over again in certain aspects. Like, there's no way you could take apart a gun.
Yeah, that
put it in a small backpack that he had, and then why would you go hide it in the woods in a towel after you put it back together? That none of that makes sense. And I've watched the video of him jumping down off the roof, running away, walking away, whatever you want to say. It did not look like he had a gun. It did not.
Okay, Vandy, just say what you want to say. It was the Jews. That's what you want to say, right?
No.
It was Netanyahu
Himself, personally. That's why he was the first person to tweet about his death.
Inside. It was an inside job. He was inside.
Yeah. And then there's all the stuff with the lapel mic and the factory blowing up and the receipt and all that.
This is where Iran comes into play.
Yeah. I think it's an inside job.
Okay. Here's my thought process of it. Just with Iran. So Iran, they hacked Kash Patel's life. They hacked everything about him. Yep. They got all kinds of emails, pictures, everything, every website that he's visited, any information that he has, any burner email accounts that he has, they all got it. Old pictures of him when he was a young lad and everything else. So,
speaking of which, everybody thinks Iran's in the Stone Age. They're not.
No,
they've got more capabilities than we give them credit for. A
lot of people associate with the entire Middle East as Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Iran is very, very sophisticated.
Yeah, and you have tons of. I might have to bleep this one out, but Muslims that are activated for the cause of what's going on.
Yeah. So while they hacked Kash Patel, all his information, they supposedly found information on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And they said that it was an inside job by the government because they found that the government purchased the rights to a lapel mic explosive from a company a year prior. Then they...
which is also weird because you have the Jews, Israel, getting access to all the pagers and blowing those up. Yeah. And it was like, we see you, we'll do one better.
Yeah, so that's... Yeah. Then they said that... wow, my mind went blank. But there
was a receipt for it.
Yeah, there was a receipt for it. But then they... Obviously, it wasn't a shot, but it was the lapel that exploded. And it didn't explode correctly.
Yeah.
And so a piece of shrapnel went into his neck. It wasn't supposed to do that, supposedly. Yeah. It was just supposed to put a hole in his chest. And which is... It sounds to me like a breach charge, like a small breach charge.
Yeah.
A breach charge is a very small copper cone that's inside of a container that has explosive behind that. That explosive shoots the copper cone through a door or metal, and that amount of pressure blasts it through there.
Right.
And it goes at an insane speed. It's literally molten copper that's going through.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what it sounds like to me. But then they said to cover up their tracks, the government to cover up their tracks, they made the plant, the explosive plant that made these, they destroyed it. 16 people lost their lives. That plant was in Tennessee. I forgot the town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was, I believe, 10 days after, 15 days
Yeah.
after his assassination. And
Did people die in that too?
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what I thought. Like, so
Pretty much everyone who was there.
yeah, so that
10 to 15. I mean, it completely wiped
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
the factory off.
So they not only got, if this is all adding up and it's them, they not only got Kirk, they got 15 other people
To cover up, supposedly.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe any of that's true.
Why?
Here's my reasoning. We're at war with Iran,
Yeah.
and it's called information warfare.
Yeah.
The American people aren't popular with this war to begin with,
Right.
and so they're trying to spread more misinformation to divide the American population from the government and pressure the American government to stop the war. Very simple, very straightforward.
Yeah.
Where they got all this from is that people were spreading all those theories way beforehand
Yep.
also. And so it's super easy for Iran to just say, hey,
Yeah.
we hacked into this guy's account.
They
The
let
FBI director, of course we have information on it.
they let the people do the work for them and just claimed it.
And they
Yeah.
didn't show that, did they?
I don't know
No. I
what
don't
they
think did.
showed. Honestly, I didn't look into it.
I know with the Cash Patel stuff that they showed random.
Yeah, they showed what they had for Cash Patel, and I've seen some of that.
Which-
But the only way that I know that
Of that, even that is so easily from both sides can be said, oh, that's just doctored up.
Yeah.
I mean, and to be fair, yeah, it could be.
I'm sorry, I'm going to believe, even though that I don't really believe my government, but I'm going to believe my government over Iran, especially in a time of war. Like, even if they did actually find that information, it's almost impossible for me to believe that
Yeah.
because of this fact. Now, I don't know who killed Charlie at this point.
Because you have the whole family saying that our son didn't do this, the guy that's being accused.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's the family.
Yeah.
I get it. But the stuff with the gun and the ballistics, and no bullets do crazy things, so I'll give the benefit of the doubt with that one.
Yes, and Daily Mail came out with a article saying, with the headline, that the ATF could not match the bullet to the gun.
Right.
Now,
There's a lot of misinformation going around about that.
yes, a lot of people want to say, see, this proves that it wasn't a 30-06 and it wasn't the gun that whatever his name is supposedly used. Not necessarily. Daily Mail said
Right.
they couldn't match it. That doesn't mean that it's a completely
Yeah.
different bullet.
Bullets go
It can
in
mean
and
that it could
ricochet,
be-
tear apart, everything.
Yeah, it all depends on the type of bullet that the guy used, everything, or whoever used. If it was an FMJ, it'd be a lot easier to find
Yeah.
that.
If it was a hunting ram made to blow up inside
Yeah.
and go everywhere,
If it was a ballistic
Hard.
tip, if it was a ballistic tip bullet, if it was a copper core bullet,
Yeah.
which is a lead core, which expands rapidly. I've pulled several out of deer, and they stay intact very well, and the rifling on the back of it is there. A lot of people say that it was a palm gun from one of the security agents, and then what people want to take on and blow up the security agents were doing hand signals and everything else. This proves
there was
that they were
a
involved.
lot of videos about that going on too.
But security does hand signals just to
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
to each other. That's
Yeah.
what all
That's
security
norm-
does.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
normal. So I think, obviously, nobody really knows what's going on.
Here's one of my biggest red flags besides the gun is they said that this is from the FBI. They said that he gained access to the rooftop via one of the buildings. If that is so, why did he jump off the roof of the building in front of a lot of people that said they saw him jump off the roof of the building? Why not just go out the way he came in?
The door could locked behind him.
That's true. I think somebody locked it. to try and set him up. Okay, we got our shooter, whatever. If he did it.
So about the gun,
Tell me about the gun.
there's grainy video. Of course, everybody's seen
Yeah.
the video of him jumping off the roof. But it does kind of look like there's a gun wrapped around his back.
See, that don't add up either because they said he took it down.
Exactly. And there's so much false information spread by the police department themselves and the investigators, which is terrible because they're contradicting themselves in many different ways with the gun specifically. Man, I don't know, man. I'm lost for words and honestly disconnected from it all for a long time because people are spreading all kinds of mess,
Yeah.
including the fact that Charlie Kirk was a time traveler.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's hard for me to add much because of the same thing. I quickly just disconnected from it because you had the people who didn't like him who were celebrating it, which made me upset. I don't care about agreeing with him or not. You don't have to agree with him. I didn't agree with him on everything, but you shouldn't celebrate this no matter who it is. So that was already like, this is getting me frustrated, and so I want to step away. And then you had the people who were taking advantage of it for their own views, and then you had the people that were saying it's Israel, it's Israel, it's Israel, and then you had the people that started saying he's a time traveler, and I'm just like, this is stupid, and so I don't even.
What I do know is the man's dead.
Yep.
That's what I know.
Unfortunately.
That's what I know.
And some
is
people
a
don't even
fact.
believe that.
Yeah, and some people don't even believe that.
I've seen.
Now, what is super odd, what is super weird, is if it was a 30-06, getting hit in the neck, there has to be an exit.
Yeah.
I'm
Soft tissue. It wasn't to the bone. It was like up where it's soft tissue mostly.
as a hunter,
A good hunter
there is going to be an exit wound.
with that big of a bullet. That's bigger than a 300 Win Mag.
30-06?
It has more powder.
Okay.
I shouldn't say bigger. It's moving faster.
Faster.
Than most.
Yeah. So a 30-30, man. I've shot many deer with 30-30. It's the same caliber bullet, 30 caliber bullet, much less powder. It's effective out to 200-300 yards. It does more damage than what we saw.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've shot deer with a 223, and it does more damage than what we saw.
Yeah. It's just,
So that part for me is extremely weird.
it begs the question, what information did he have that people wanted him to be silenced for?
The next thing that's super weird to me is they tore down everything extremely fast.
Very fast.
The next thing that's weird to me is if there was an exit, they should have been able to see it on the background itself.
Right. There wasn't.
No, the next
It was a
thing
pure
that's-
white background too, I think.
Yes. The next thing that's very odd for me is within, I believe, 12 to 24 hours, there was a tunnel underneath where he was sitting, and they filled it up with concrete.
Yeah. That
And
should
there is
never be.
the same people that was saying Charlie Kirk was a time traveler also said that there was a guy that popped up from that hatch and shot up, and I don't believe that at all either. But I mean, it's why would you fill that up with concrete? It's a maintenance tunnel.
Yeah, I personally believe that the government force fed us facts in an attempt to not have riots and stuff. Personally, because they
I don't
love to.
I don't believe that.
The reason why I say that is because they love to control the narrative.
That
of
I
things.
agree.
So I don't think all of them. I think certain things were shoved in our face really fast. And like, for example, with the older gentleman that they were like, oh, that's him.
Well, for him, he's odd because
He's old.
I'm not going to go all into his backstory because, like I said, it's been a long time since I looked into all that. But he's been arrested before for acts of terrorism.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as soon as the shot went off, everybody hunkered down, gave him like
He looked.
5 seconds. He jumped up and said, it was me.
Yeah.
And he later said that he did that to cause a distraction to let the guy go, the shooter get out.
See, yeah.
And then
That
he
screams
said,
inside job so bad.
but then he said that he didn't know the guy. He just hated Charlie so much that he wanted the shooter to go. And supposedly, within the investigation, they couldn't find any correlation between the shooter and this older gentleman. I'm not even going to call him a gentleman because he's not a gentleman. Older guy. So, man, there's so much. So much.
Then you just have the picking up of Turning Point by his wife going ballistic with everything. And
Yeah, well,
I kind of get that.
I'm not going to go into all that.
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
not.
different story.
I'm going to leave her out of it because
She's wild.
there's more people that are more particular about her than him.
Oh, yeah.
and the shooting.
Oh, yeah.
And
There's whole theories on that.
yeah, and again, I'm not going to get into all of that. There's so much going on with her. But it's just a wild situation. And I think that there was a lot of people that wanted their channel to blow up.
Yes.
And so they started putting things together.
Be the first with the news type thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because of them, and I'm not calling any specific person out because it could be a person with 1,000 followers doing this, and then they get 2 million views on their one video. But because of them, they flooded everything and caused so much misinformation and so much political discourse and so much confusion that people don't even understand who actually took the shot. There's videos that I saw that there is a little tiny flash of light in one of the buildings if he was sitting on his right shoulder, and then there's people saying that there was a guy on top of the roof towards his right shoulder and that you could see him ducking down and everything. And I keep saying it over and over again. There's so much, and I'm not going to get into it. But
there's just too many people that I could see have the motive.
Yep.
Our government, other governments.
The other thing is, which they are investigating this. There were people on social media accounts that was saying on this day, Charlie Kirk is going to get what's coming to him.
Yeah.
Coming for him.
Yeah.
And there were several accounts that were saying that. So that says that there was foreknowledge of the attack by multiple people.
Yeah.
So, and there was also speculation of the guy talking to his friends on the forums and saying all this and that. But there's not a whole lot of evidence, as far as I can remember. I could be completely wrong. There's not a whole lot of evidence of him directly telling people that, hey, I'm going to do this on September 10th.
Yeah.
Directly saying what he's going to do to who. Again, I could be completely wrong because I've stepped away from all that
Yeah.
a long time ago. There could be more information during the trial that comes out itself.
I
That
really
says
hope
that.
we get actual facts.
We won't.
I know we won't, but I really want us to.
The defendant, they're trying not to allow the
Court?
the court case to be videoed,
Right.
and they're trying to keep it very they're trying to keep it a closed door trial.
Which that makes no sense.
There's arguments on both sides either way.
Yeah, that
But
makes sense to me.
I mean, I think it personally, I think it does need to be videoed and released to the public because of everything that's gone on.
Yeah, no, I don't think it should be closed, but it makes sense to.
Well, from the defendant side, yeah.
It makes sense that they would want it to be. There's reasons to, but I
Yeah.
think that the scale of it is too big.
And for the jury, man,
Yep.
you can't have somebody that's unbiased on this one.
Oh yeah.
You can't find anybody in the country that's unbiased for it.
It's
Besides maybe your grandma in the nursing
Yeah.
home. I mean, like, even your grandpa.
Break out all the old people.
Yeah.
Bring them in.
Dude, even my grandma's got
Oh, your grandma
both-
sends videos.
I know. Both my dad's parents, they have opinions. But they sit there and they watch Fox News at night.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're gonna be
everybody's got
biased.
an opinion. I guess to wrap this up, what I deep down I would put all my eggs in a basket, so to speak, is that this was a big test to see what would happen if they did that. Like whoever did, I think they wanted reactions. I think they wanted riots. I think they wanted a lot of things. And just, I feel like it's in the same vein as like the pandemic. They wanted to see what they could ensue or incite.
So when you say they, you mean government?
Personally, yeah. I think
Okay.
it is a government, or if not multiple.
No, I don't think that's what this was. I think it was whatever party, because it could have been multiple people.
It legit could have been.
But whatever party did it because they wanted him to shut up.
Yeah.
Well,
I think they wanted him to shut up, not because
Yeah.
he had too much information, but because he had too much sway. And they're
yeah.
like, we don't want his influence on.
Yeah. I think
This.
that's a valid theory as well.
And that's the only way we can do it is if we kill him.
Well, through the grapevine, podcasters were also saying that the next ticket was supposed to be Vance and Kirk.
Yeah. I
for
heard
the
that.
2028 presidential election.
Yeah.
And if not him being a vice president, they were wanting him to run as a president, either in 28 or 32.
Yeah, he could have run for president.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sure, somebody, obviously, they could have been like, no, we can't have him as
Yeah.
president.
But
whatever.
I mean, yeah, it could have been.
There-
Genuinely could have been Israel related because he was not in good terms with certain things going on with Israel. So it could
Yeah.
have been Israel saying we need to sniff out this influence. It could have been
'Cause, yeah.
it could have been a political inside government thing that didn't like his influence on what Trump is doing because he talked with Trump and dealt with Trump. I don't think Trump had anything to do with this, but it could have been some coup or some not coup, but some
Yeah.
inside government thing. It could have been leftists who were just
Yeah.
mad because we don't want him influencing the midterms. We got to get him out before the
Sure.
midterms, and we got to do it before close to the midterms because if it's during 2026, so we are too fresh. So we got to do it now. So it could
Yeah.
have been that. It could have just been one crazed person who really believed that he's a Nazi.
I think we shouldn't underestimate that the establishment of Republican Democrat don't think that they won't team up to take somebody out that is against both of them.
well, we've seen the government do it
Yeah,
before with
we
Kennedy.
have. Exactly my point.
And they did that it was the CIA. I mean, everybody
I believe
knows.
that too.
Everybody knows that it was the CIA. I mean, it's obvious. And I hate doing that. I complain about people doing that all the time of saying, well, if you can't see that it's this, well, then you're just dumb, and then moves on. I hate doing that. But we're not, this isn't a JFK segment here.
Dude, I can't wait till we get to heaven, and I'm just like, I probably won't care about this when I get to the other side, but we have eternity, so maybe at one point I'm gonna be like, okay, what was the facts of this? What happened?
Yeah.
What hands were shook and deals were made here?
Bottom line, you said your opinion. My opinion is the man's dead.
That's not an opinion.
That's a fact, bro.
I don't know who did it.
What?
The most likely.
And what are we doing here? You're supposed to tell us.
Yeah.
The most
Who
likely,
did it, Andrew? What do the numbers mean?
Sorry, I'll let you get your.
The most likely Occam's razor is that it was the original guy, the guy that they have in custody right now. And what caused all the confusion and chaos is the sheriff's department wanting to get information out as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the facts right. Not in a malicious way, but they assumed and they said things that they thought was fact, but it turns out once you review footage more, and that's what I think. There was foreknowledge of the attack. That's fact because of these accounts that said that he's going to get what's coming to him.
But I think that too is also something that people just say.
Sure.
But somebody meant it.
Sure. But that's very, it could have been somebody, whoever it was on Discord, saying he's going to get what's coming to him and throw water, and they were wanting to throw a water balloon at him.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah, there's always going to be the majority that says something like that, and then in that majority, there's somebody who actually will.